The pristine chambers of the interstellar assembly stretched upward in elegant crystalline spires, their translucent walls refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the center of the presentation platform, her heart steady despite the countless alien eyes fixed upon her. The holographic display behind her showed the schematics of Earth's quantum folding drive, rotating slowly in brilliant blue light. The fundamental principle, she continued, her voice clear and confident, relies on the intersection of quantum states we've discovered in the fabric of space-time itself. Our calculations suggest a ripple of something between amusement and dismissal passed through the assembled representatives. The Vithar delegate, Ambassador Kirill, raised one crystalline hand. His faceted features caught the light as he spoke, his translator rendering his musical language into standard Galactic. Dr. Chen, he said, his tone carrying the patient indulgence of a teacher addressing a particularly ambitious child, your species has achieved faster-than-light travel mere decades ago. The Vithar have studied quantum mechanics for 50,000 years. The principles you propose are, quite simply, impossible. Sarah's fingers tightened almost imperceptibly on her data tablet. She had expected this response, had prepared for it. With respect, Ambassador, impossible is a rather absolute term in scientific discourse. In this case, it is appropriate. Kirill gestured, and his own holographic display materialized beside Earth's design. Your proposed drive would require stability in quantum states that cannot, by definition, remain stable. The energy requirements alone would be precisely managed through the resonance matrix we've developed. Sarah interrupted, bringing up another diagram. The gasps from several delegates suggested that interrupting a Vithar was not common practice. If you examine the internal configuration, Dr. Chen, this time it was the Meridian representative, their bioluminescent form pulsing with gentle blues and greens. While we appreciate Earth's enthusiasm, perhaps your efforts would be better directed toward improving your existing drive systems. The Galactic Council would be happy to provide assistance in that regard. Sarah felt the familiar surge of frustration, but kept her expression neutral. They couldn't see it, couldn't see what she and her team had discovered because they were too certain of their own knowledge. The quantum folding drive wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. The universe had shown them the way, hidden in the spaces between accepted theories and established laws. Thank you for your consideration, she said, beginning her prepared conclusion. Earth looks forward to continuing our technological development. The implied with or without your help hung unspoken in the air. As the assembly dispersed, Sarah gathered her materials, noting how the other representatives carefully avoided meeting her gaze. Only Kirill approached, his crystalline form towering over her. Your determination is admirable, he said softly, but it would be tragic to see Earth waste resources on an impossible dream. There are many paths to advancement, Dr. Chen. Choose one that exists. Sarah met his multifaceted eyes. Every path exists first in dreams. Ambassador, that's something humans understand very well. Later, as her shuttle departed the interstellar assembly station, Sarah watched the magnificent structure recede into the star-studded darkness. Her tablet displayed a message from Earth, Project Prometheus status, green, awaiting your return. She smiled, thinking of the facility hidden beneath the Atacama's sands. The Vithar and the others were right about one thing. The quantum folding drive they imagined couldn't work, but they hadn't imagined it the way humans had. They hadn't seen the elegant solution hidden in what they considered crude human technology. They couldn't see it because they had never failed enough to learn from failure, had never been desperate enough to try the impossible, had never been told they weren't ready, weren't good enough, weren't meant for the stars. Sarah closed her eyes, picturing the prototype taking shape in secret. Let them think humanity had given up. Let them offer their carefully measured help and wisdom. The ship that shouldn't exist was about to change everything. The desert wind howled across the Atacama's surface, whipping sand against the seemingly abandoned research station. 300 meters below, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the heart of humanity's greatest secret, watching as engineers carefully aligned the salvaged Vithar crystal matrix with Earth's quantum resonance chamber. Integration at 60%, announced Dr. Marcus Wong, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. Quantum stability holding steady. Sweat beaded on his forehead, despite the climate-controlled environment. They'd failed 7 times before. Each failure had cost weeks of work and irreplaceable materials. Sarah checked her own readings. The hybrid system shouldn't work. The Vithar crystals were designed to reject any technology they deemed imperfect. Yet somehow, the imperfections in human engineering were creating something new, something unprecedented. 70%, Marcus called out. The chamber hummed, its tone shifting from a deep vibration to a crystalline song. Energy patterns are. Wait. He frowned. This can't be right. Sarah moved to his station, studying the readouts. The quantum fields weren't just stable. They were growing stronger, more coherent. The crystal matrix is adapting to our resonance frequency. That's impossible, said Dr. Yuki Tanaka, their theoretical physicist. The Vithar crystals are molecularly engineered to maintain rigid quantum states. They can't adapt. Look at the harmonics. Sarah pointed to the oscillating patterns. Our imperfect chamber isn't forcing the crystals to change. It's giving them room to evolve. The Vithar engineered them to be perfect, but we're showing them how to grow. The chamber's song reached a new pitch. The air itself seemed to shimmer as the quantum fields expanded, interweaving in ways that defied conventional physics. Marcus's hands hovered over the emergency shutdown controls, but Sarah held up her hand. Wait, she said softly. Look at the stability curve. The reading showed something extraordinary. The quantum fields weren't just stable. They were creating new patterns, new possibilities in the fabric of space-time. The human-made resonance chamber's slight irregularities were allowing the Vithar crystals to express quantum states their creators had never imagined possible. Integration complete, Marcus announced, his voice filled with wonder. Field strength at 120% of projected maximum. It's actually working. Sarah touched the chamber's outer wall, feeling the subtle vibration of 2 technologies learning to dance together. This is why they couldn't see it, she whispered. They'd spent so long perfecting their technology that they forgot the value of imperfection. Dr. Chen called out Lieutenant Rosa Martinez from the security station. We're receiving a priority message from the surface. A Meridian survey ship is requesting permission to study atmospheric anomalies in the area. Sarah straightened. Initiate protocol echo. Power down to minimal levels, but maintain the integration. They might detect conventional energy signatures, but they won't be looking for quantum harmonics they believe impossible. As the facility dimmed, Sarah watched the hybrid system continue its gentle pulsing. The Meridians would find nothing but an abandoned research station studying desert bacteria. They wouldn't see the miracle taking shape beneath their feet, a miracle born from humanity's greatest strengths. The ability to learn from failure, to find beauty in imperfection, and to see possibilities where others saw only limitations. Begin recording all frequencies, she ordered. Every bit of data matters now. We're not just building a ship, we're discovering the new law of physics, one that's been waiting for someone to be just imperfect enough to see it. The chamber's song continued, a melody of human ingenuity and alien perfection finding harmony in the desert's depths. Above them, the Meridian ship would scan and find nothing unusual. Below, humanity's impossible dream grew stronger with each passing moment. Sarah smiled, remembering Ambassador Kirill's condescension. Soon, very soon, they would show the galaxy that the path to the impossible began with the courage to embrace imperfection. The alarm blared through Project Prometheus's underground facility, its urgent tone echoing off crystalline walls. Red warning lights painted shadows across Dr. Sarah Chen's face as she raced toward the testing chamber, her tablet displaying cascading strings of quantum measurements that shouldn't have been possible. Status report, she called out, bursting into the control room. The scene before her was chaos, but organized chaos, the kind that often preceded breakthrough moments in science. It started during the neural interface test, Dr. Marcus Wong explained, his fingers flying across multiple holographic displays. Lieutenant Rivera was running the standard connection sequence with the quantum matrix when I saw it, interrupted Rivera, his voice trembling with excitement rather than fear. The young pilot sat in the neural interface chair, electrodes still attached to his temples. The quantum fields, they're not just random patterns. They're like music. I can feel their rhythm. Sarah moved to the main display, studying the readings. The quantum field generators were operating far beyond their design parameters, yet instead of collapsing, they were achieving perfect stability. These patterns, they're matching your neural oscillations, Lieutenant. Not matching, Rivera corrected, his eyes bright with understanding. Dancing. The fields respond to how I think about them. It's like they're eager to follow our lead. Dr. Yuki Tanaka pulled up a comparison chart. Look at this, Sarah. When we tried to force the quantum fields into stable configurations, they resisted. But human neural patterns naturally create the exact fluctuations needed for quantum folding. We weren't failing before. We were just trying to speak the wrong language. Sarah felt her pulse quicken as the implications became clear. The Vithar approach was to impose rigid order on quantum states, but human consciousness naturally exists in a state of dynamic chaos, ordered enough to be stable, chaotic enough to be adaptable. That's why the hybrid system works, Marcus added, excitement coloring his voice. Our imperfect technology creates space for this natural quantum dialogue. The Vithar crystals amplify it, but the real breakthrough is the human mind itself. Lieutenant Rivera disconnected himself from the interface chair and stood, his movements steady despite the intense neural connection he'd just experienced. I could see paths through space-time, not just mathematically. I could feel them, like currents in a river. The ship won't just fold space, it'll flow through it naturally. Quantum sensitivity readings are off the charts, reported Dr. Tanaka, bringing up new data streams. But they're different for each person. Rivera's patterns show exceptional compatibility, but even standard neural patterns achieve better stability than any artificial system. Sarah walked to the central chamber where the prototype quantum folding drive hummed with potential. Its surface rippled with iridescent patterns, responding to the mere presence of human minds nearby. They had stumbled upon something the older species had never considered, that consciousness itself might be the key to understanding quantum space. Begin full documentation, she ordered, her voice firm despite her racing thoughts. Every measurement, every observation, every theoretical model. We need to understand exactly why this works before we proceed with full integration. The Vithar will never believe this, Marcus said, shaking his head in wonder. Their entire approach to quantum mechanics is based on controlling quantum states through perfect technology. The idea that human consciousness naturally achieves what their most advanced systems can't. They'll have to believe it, Sarah replied, watching the quantum fields pulse in harmony with Rivera's lingering neural signature. Because we're not just going to tell them, we're going to show them. She activated the facility's main communication system. All teams, prepare for accelerated testing. The quantum folding drive isn't just possible, it's inevitable, and only humanity can pilot it. As her words echoed through the facility, Sarah watched her team spring into action with renewed purpose. Above them, the Atacama Desert kept their secrets safe. Soon, the ship that should never have existed would carry humanity's greatest discovery to the stars, not the technology itself, but the proof that the human mind held more wonders than the galaxy's oldest species had ever imagined. The stellar dream hung in low Earth orbit, its experimental hull gleaming in the sunlight. From the outside, it looked deceptively simple, clean lines and subtle curves that disguised the revolutionary technology within. In the ship's neural interface chamber, Lieutenant Maya Patel completed her pre-flight checks, each movement precise and measured. Neural synchronization at optimal levels, reported Dr. Chen's voice through the ship's communication system. How are you feeling, Lieutenant? Maya closed her eyes, feeling the quantum fields rippling around her consciousness. Like I'm floating in an ocean of possibilities, Doctor. The quantum pathways, they're becoming clearer with each moment. From the monitoring station hidden beneath the Atacama, Sarah watched the neural telemetry with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This was the moment of truth, the first full-scale test of the quantum folding drive. Surrounding her, dozens of screens displayed data from every conceivable angle. Quantum matrix stable, announced Dr. Wong. Vithar crystals are responding perfectly to Lieutenant Patel's neural patterns. We're ready for the first fold attempt. Sarah keyed the comm. Remember, Maya, this is just a short jump, 0.03 light years and back. If anything feels wrong, abort immediately. Understood, Maya replied, her voice serene. The quantum fields were singing to her now, showing her paths through space-time that no human had ever seen. Beginning quantum fold in 3, 2, 1. The stellar dream pulsed once, a ripple of iridescent energy washing over its hull. In the neural interface chamber, Maya felt the universe open before her. It wasn't the harsh tear through space-time that conventional drives created. This was more like slipping between raindrops, finding the natural spaces where reality was already folded. Quantum stability holding, Marcus reported, his voice tense with concentration. Field harmonics are extraordinary. She's not forcing the fold, she's negotiating with space-time itself. On screens across the monitoring station, the stellar dream seemed to shimmer, its form becoming fluid ethereal. Then, with the grace of a dolphin sliding beneath waves, it vanished. For 17 seconds, the only sound in the control room was the soft hum of equipment. Sarah held her breath, watching the quantum telemetry for any sign of their ship. The sensors chimed, and the stellar dream reappeared exactly at its designated coordinates. Maya's voice came through clear and excited. Station, you're not going to believe this. The quantum paths, they're everywhere. It's like discovering that we've had wings all along and just never knew how to unfold them. Sarah's team erupted in cheers, but she quickly raised her hand for silence. Maya, can you describe exactly what you experienced? It's like diving into a stream of consciousness, Dr. Chen. The quantum fields don't just respond to our minds. They're eager to work with us. I can see why the Vithar could never master this. They try to command quantum space, but it needs to be danced with. Warning lights suddenly flashed across the monitoring stations. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, announced Lieutenant Martinez from the security station. Signatures match Vithar patrol vessels. They must have detected the quantum fluctuations, Marcus said, his expression tense. No way to hide something this big. Sarah straightened, a slight smile playing at her lips. Good. Maya, prepare for one more demonstration. Let's show our friends what humanity has achieved. The Vithar vessels moved to surround the stellar dream, their crystalline ships glinting like artificial stars. A transmission came through. Unknown vessel, power down immediately. You are in violation of multiple safety protocols. Maya's laugh sparkled through the comm. Ready for the dance, Dr. Chen. Show them what we can do, Lieutenant. But remember, we're not showing off. We're showing that there's more than one way to understand the universe. The stellar dream pulsed again, its hull shimmering with quantum potential. As the Vithar vessels watched, humanity's impossible ship began to move. Not with the brute force of conventional drives, but with the elegant precision of a human mind working in perfect harmony with the fabric of space-time itself. The real revolution wasn't the technology. It was the proof that sometimes the universe's greatest mysteries could only be unlocked by those humble enough to listen rather than command. High Commander Tellar stood on the bridge of the Vithar science vessel Crystal Resonance, his crystalline features reflecting the shimmer of quantum distortions left in the wake of the human ship. In 50,000 years of space exploration, he had never seen anything like it. "Analysis," he commanded, his tone carefully neutral despite the turmoil in his thoughts. Chief Scientist Venra approached, her crystalline form vibrating with barely contained agitation. "The readings are challenging our fundamental understanding of quantum mechanics, High Commander. The human vessel isn't forcing quantum states like our drives do. It's—" She paused, searching for words. "It's flowing through natural quantum currents we never knew existed." "Impossible," Tellar stated, but without his usual certainty. He had watched the human ship, this stellar dream, move through space-time with a grace that made Vithar vessels look crude in comparison. "Our understanding of quantum physics is absolute." "Evidently not." Venra projected a holographic display of the quantum field readings. "Look at these patterns. The human ship is achieving quantum harmony states that our theoretical models predicted were impossible. Yet there they are, creating perfect resonance with space-time itself." The bridge crew worked in tense silence, tracking the stellar dream as it demonstrated maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Each movement left behind quantum signatures that seemed to mock 50 millennia of Vithar science. "High Commander," called the communications officer, "we're receiving a transmission from Ambassador Carell. The Interstellar Assembly is convening an emergency session. Our presence is required immediately." Tellar watched the human ship execute another perfect quantum fold, its hull shimmering with energies his people had never mastered. "Prepare a complete analysis for the assembly. Leave nothing out, no matter how impossible it seems." "There's more," Venra added, her voice dropping lower. "We've detected neural patterns integrated with the quantum fields. The humans aren't just controlling the quantum states, they're communicating with them. Their consciousness somehow naturally interfaces with quantum spacetime." The implications staggered Tellar. The Vithar had spent millennia developing technology to impose order on quantum chaos, never considering that consciousness itself might be the key to understanding it. "The assembly must know everything," he decided. "Our pride has blinded us to possibilities we never imagined. These humans, whom we dismissed as primitive." He turned to face his crew, his crystalline form catching the light of Earth's sun. "They haven't just matched our understanding of the universe, they'd surpassed it." On the main display, the stellar dream continued its elegant dance through space-time. Lieutenant Patel's voice came through their comm system, clear and confident. "Vithar vessel, we're transmitting our flight data for your analysis. We believe there's much our species can learn from each other." Tellar felt something he hadn't experienced in centuries, the humbling sensation of discovering that the universe was far more mysterious than he had believed. "Acknowledge their transmission," he ordered, "and extend our gratitude." As the data flowed into their systems, Venra's analysis sparked new revelations. "High Commander, these quantum harmonics, they suggest that consciousness itself might be a fundamental force in the universe, as essential as gravity or electromagnetism. We never saw it because we were too focused on technological perfection." "And the humans?" Tellar asked, already knowing the answer. "Their very imperfection made them perfect for this discovery. Their minds exist in a state of dynamic chaos, ordered enough to maintain stability, fluid enough to adapt. They aren't just using the quantum folding drive. They're teaching us that we've been studying the universe wrong all along." Tellar watched Earth rotate slowly beneath them, seeing the cradle of humanity in a new light. "Prepare for transit to the assembly," he ordered. "It's time for the galaxy to learn that sometimes the greatest wisdom comes from those we thought had nothing to teach." The crystal resonance turned toward the assembly station, its conventional drive seeming suddenly primitive. Behind them, the stellar dream danced through quantum space, a testament to humanity's greatest gift, the ability to dream beyond the boundaries of the possible. The interstellar assembly station buzzed with unprecedented activity as ships from across the galaxy arrived in waves. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the same podium where, months earlier, she had faced dismissal and skepticism. Now she watched representatives from a dozen advanced civilizations examine the technical data from the stellar dream, with expressions ranging from wonder to disbelief. "The quantum harmonics are undeniable," announced the Meridian representative, their bioluminescent form pulsing with excited patterns. "But the neural interface component, that's what truly changes everything we thought we knew about space-time." Ambassador Carell stepped forward, his crystalline form somehow more humble than before. "Dr. Chen, when you first presented this concept, we believed we were protecting you from wasting resources on an impossible dream. We were wrong in ways we never imagined possible." Sarah activated the central holographic display, showing the complex dance of quantum fields around the stellar dream during its test flight. "The key was never about forcing space-time to bend to our will," she explained. "It was about understanding that consciousness itself is part of the quantum fabric of reality." Lieutenant Maya Patel, standing beside her, added, "When I'm connected to the drive, I'm not controlling it. I'm having a conversation with space-time itself. Every quantum fold is a collaboration between mind and universe." The assembled representatives watched in fascination as the display showed Maya's neural patterns interacting with quantum fields in ways their civilizations had never conceived. The Arcturian scientists, known for their mastery of consciousness technology, were particularly enthralled. "We see now why our own experiments in quantum travel never achieved this level of harmony," their leading researcher commented, appendages moving in patterns of deep thought. "We approached space-time as something to be conquered rather than understood." Dr. Marcus Wong, who had accompanied Sarah to the assembly, brought up new data streams. "The quantum folding drive isn't just a new method of space travel," he explained. "It's proof that consciousness plays a fundamental role in the structure of reality, something many of your civilizations have theorized but never quite proven." A murmur of excitement rippled through the chamber as representatives began to see the broader implications. This wasn't just about faster or more efficient space travel. It was about a fundamental shift in understanding the universe itself. "We propose," Sarah continued, her voice clear and confident, "the joint initiative. Earth will share our quantum folding technology, and in return, we seek to learn from your millennia of experience in space exploration. Together, we can unlock mysteries none of us could solve alone." The Vithar High Council members conferred briefly before Carell spoke again. "Dr. Chen, you've shown us that true wisdom lies not in assuming we know all the answers, but in remaining open to new questions. The Vithar would be honored to participate in this exchange of knowledge." One by one, other species stepped forward to join the initiative. The Meridians offered their expertise in energy manipulation, the Arcturians their deep understanding of consciousness, and others their own unique insights and technologies. Maya smiled as she watched the proceedings, feeling the quantum fields that permeated the station singing with possibility. "It's like the quantum harmonics we discovered," she whispered to Sarah. "Different patterns coming together to create something greater than the sum of their parts." As the session concluded, Ambassador Carell approached Sarah privately. "There is an old Vithar saying," he said, his voice carrying notes of both humility and hope. "The greatest discoveries come not when we prove ourselves right, but when we prove ourselves ready to be wrong." Sarah looked out at the assembled representatives, now eagerly discussing collaborative research projects and exchange programs. The ship that should never have existed had done more than prove human ingenuity. It had shown that the path to understanding the universe required all species to work together, each contributing their unique perspective. "The quantum folding drive was just the beginning," she replied, watching humanity's future unfold before her. "Together, we'll discover wonders none of us could have imagined alone." The collaborative research facility on Europa's surface gleamed under Jupiter's massive presence, its crystalline domes housing the most ambitious joint scientific venture in galactic history. Inside the central laboratory, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a diverse group of researchers from across the galaxy, their attention fixed on the revolutionary results displayed before them. "The quantum resonance patterns we've discovered aren't unique to the folding drive," Sarah explained, manipulating the holographic display to show a complex web of interconnected energy signatures. "They appear to be fundamental to consciousness itself, across all sentient species. Dr. Venera, the Vithor chief scientist who had once doubted human capabilities, now worked alongside Sarah. Her crystalline form shifted with excitement as she added, "We've detected similar patterns in everything from Arcturian thought processes to meridian energy fields. The human breakthrough didn't just give us a new way to travel, it revealed an underlying principle of universal consciousness." Lieutenant Maya Patel demonstrated by connecting to a scaled-down version of the quantum interface. The assembled scientists watched in amazement as her neural patterns created perfect harmonies with the quantum field, each thought generating ripples that seemed to dance with the fabric of space-time itself. Each species perceives these quantum connections differently, Maya explained, her voice carrying the calm certainty of experience. Humans see them as paths or currents. The Vithor experience them as crystalline structures. The meridians describe them as songs of light. But they're all the same fundamental reality. We just needed to learn how to listen to each other to understand it. An Arcturian researcher extended its sensory appendages toward the quantum field display. "We have discovered that even our most advanced consciousness technology barely scratched the surface of what's possible. The human approach, embracing intuition alongside logic, has opened doors we never knew existed." Sarah brought up a new series of data streams, showing how different species' neural patterns interacted with quantum space. The key wasn't in forcing the quantum states to conform to our expectations, but in learning to work with the natural rhythms of space-time. Every consciousness, every perspective, adds another layer of understanding. And the applications extend far beyond space travel, Marcus added from his workstation. "We're seeing potential breakthroughs in everything from communication technology to energy generation. The quantum harmonics we discovered are changing our understanding of reality itself." The Meridian representative pulsed with patterns of deep appreciation. "Perhaps this is why the younger species often make the most profound discoveries. You haven't yet learned what's impossible, so you remain free to discover what's possible." A junior researcher raised a question that had been on many minds. But why did it take a human mind to unlock these quantum principles? Why couldn't more advanced species see these patterns? Sarah smiled, remembering her first presentation to the skeptical assembly. "Because we had to fail first," she explained. "Our technology wasn't perfect enough to force quantum space to behave the way we thought it should. That imperfection made us listen instead of command, adapt instead of impose. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come not from knowing all the answers, but from being willing to ask new questions." The quantum field hummed softly throughout the facility, its harmonics now familiar to all present. Maya disconnected from the interface, but the sense of connection remained. Every time we think we understand it completely, the quantum fields show us something new. It's like the universe itself is teaching us, if we're willing to learn. And that, Sarah concluded, is the real discovery we've made together. Not just the technology, not just the science, but the understanding that every perspective, every approach, every way of thinking adds something valuable to our knowledge. As the presentation concluded, Sarah watched the assembled scientists break into smaller groups, each sharing insights and ideas with an enthusiasm that transcended species boundaries. The quantum folding drive had started as a human innovation, but its greatest impact wasn't in the technology itself. It was in showing that the path to understanding the universe required all of them, working together, each contributing their unique way of seeing reality. 1 year after the breakthrough, the observation deck of the Stellar Dream offered a view that no human had ever witnessed before. Dr. Sarah Chen stood beside Lieutenant Maya Patel, watching the quantum waves of deep space ripple like aurora borealis against the backdrop of stars. The ship hovered at the edge of explored space, preparing to make history once again. "All systems are ready," Maya reported, her connection to the quantum fields making her eyes shimmer with iridescent patterns. "The new hybrid interfaces are functioning perfectly. The Vithor crystals have fully adapted to our neural resonance patterns." Sarah nodded, feeling a deep sense of satisfaction as she watched the integrated crew work together. The bridge now hosted not just humans, but representatives from 5 different species, each contributing their unique perspective to the ship's operations. What had begun as a human breakthrough had evolved into something far more profound. Launch sequence initiated for the first intergalactic quantum fold, announced Dr. Marcus Wong from his station, where he worked alongside a meridian energy specialist. Field harmonics are stable and expanding. Through the quantum sensors, they could see the distant Andromeda galaxy, not just as a spiral of stars, but as a complex web of quantum possibilities. The path between galaxies, once thought impossibly vast, now appeared as clear as a river's current to their enhanced perception. This is more than just an exploration mission, Sarah addressed the assembled crew. This ship represents what we can achieve when we combine our strengths: human intuition, Vifar precision, meridian energy manipulation, Arcturian consciousness technology, and more, all working in harmony. Ambassador Carell, now a permanent liaison to the Quantum Exploration Initiative, stood beside her. His crystalline form resonated subtly with the ship's quantum field. The impossible ship has become a bridge between not just space and time, but between all sentient species. We have all grown wiser for recognizing that true knowledge comes from embracing different ways of understanding. Maya settled into the neural interface chair, its design now incorporating elements from multiple civilizations' technologies. Quantum field expansion beginning, she announced. I can see the path clearly. The space between galaxies isn't empty. It's alive with quantum currents we never knew existed. The Stellar Dream's hull shimmered with possibilities as its hybrid systems powered up. What had once been purely human technology now incorporated the best elements of a dozen different civilization sciences. Yet at its heart, it remained true to its origins, guided by the unique harmony between human consciousness and quantum space. Preparing for intergalactic fold, Maya continued. All crew members ready for quantum transition. Sarah watched as the stars seemed to dance around them. The ship that should never have existed had become more than just a vessel. It had become a symbol of what was possible when different species set aside their assumptions and worked together. Quantum fold initiating in 3, 2, 1. The Stellar Dream pulsed once, its form becoming momentarily fluid as it prepared to make the longest quantum jump ever attempted. The crew, human and alien alike, held their breath in anticipation. Maya's voice came clear through the ship's systems. The quantum currents are strong. We're not just following them, we're dancing with them. The path to Andromeda is open. As the ship began its historic journey, Sarah reflected on how far they had come. From a secret project beneath the desert to this moment, crossing the void between galaxies, humanity had done more than prove itself to the galaxy. They had shown that the greatest discoveries come not from proving others wrong, but from bringing different perspectives together. The Stellar Dream slipped gracefully into quantum space, carrying with it the dreams and aspirations of multiple civilizations. Behind them, the Milky Way shimmered like a jewel. Ahead, Andromeda beckoned with new mysteries to explore. The impossible ship had become inevitable after all, not through any one species' brilliance, but through the combined wisdom of many, guided by humanity's unique gift for seeing possibilities where others saw only limitations.